on, Daniels.
Daniels! I got you! Keep your head down!
God damn it! We keep crushing them and they keep coming back!
We can't hold the plaza much longer!
Artillery's on its way. They're saying 10 minutes top.
Might as well be 10 hours! Lieutenant Turner, we need tank support
The
now!
tanks are covering our
Everybody
flank.
pipe down and let me think, goddammit!
we don't have time to think!
All right, Daniel! You and I will go with Pearson and call it in. Move!
All right, let's
Covering
go.
fire!
Welcome everybody, Josh here, back again today with a brand new and special product review. Today we're going to be talking to you guys about this, which is Call of Duty World War II Gold Edition on the PlayStation 4, the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X through backwards compatibility. I've been a huge fan of history ever since I was a kid. I really love the historical World War II aspect, especially if it's featured in movies or even video games for that matter, and I really did like the concept of going back to the more boots on the ground style tradition that Call of Duty is known for with Call of Duty World War II, and I think that this game definitely does deliver. This game is made by Activision Blizzard as well as Sledgehammer Games, and this is one of those games that I think really needed to happen when it did, because before that we kept getting the Modern Warfare franchise and we got the Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare franchise that really didn't do that well in terms of the popularity of the video games, and then they're like, well, let's go back to something tried and true that actually works, and that was Call of Duty World War II. So what is the single player story of Call of Duty World War II? Well, you're Private Daniels. You're basically working with the squad of the 1st Infantry, which is led by William Pearson, played by Josh Duhamel. Josh Duhamel is the main driving force behind this game, and it's really cool to see him in this action-heavy role. He's done action-heavy roles before with Transformers, and he's done other military stuff in the past, and I think that one of the things that really does make me want to keep playing these Call of Duty games is the fact that they take these Hollywood actors and they drop them into these realistic or futuristic style scenarios where they elevate their careers to a whole new other different dimension, and I think that Call of Duty World War II is definitely that for Josh Duhamel, and I think it's really cool to see the opening acts of Normandy during the Normandy invasions of Nazi-occupied France in World War II. It's also pretty cool to see the Battle of the Bulge. You also get to see the liberation of Paris, as well as the Rhine River is another playable area of the game that you get to explore and kind of go through towards the concept of the story. And what is the concept of the story? Well, you're part of the 1st Infantry Division. You're fighting the Nazis in World War II. The Nazis have taken over all of Europe, and it's up to your team to stop the Nazi invasion from taking over pretty much the rest of the entire globe. It's a really cool and dark tone to it than some of the other games in the Call of Duty franchise, even Call of Duty 3. I really do like it when Call of Duty ends up going dark. I really do like the bombastic set pieces which are featured within this game, but I think that this game is more bloody and violent and gory than the past iterations of the franchise. There's a lot of limbs that get blown off, heads that get kind of smashed into pieces when you fire a round into them. The weapons of this game are brutal. You get your typical issue military carbine, you get the Thompson submachine gun, you get some of the other standard Nazi bad guy weapons such as the MP40. You also get different other cool and unique weapons that do show up in the game, and it's really cool to see these weapons come into the fold in terms of the Call of Duty franchise, because I think that these weapons handle great. They look realistic compared to their realistic counterparts, and I think that anybody that's a historical World War II expert or knows a little bit of the history behind Operation Overlord, which is the operation that they're experiencing in this game, know the difficult situation that these soldiers are in and what they're fighting for, and I think that having a reason to fight for the ending of this game is something that keeps players invested in the story, keeps players coming in. Similar to myself, and while I don't really love this game, while I don't really hate this game, it's a mess story in the Call of Duty franchise. I think that there's far worse games you could actually be playing than Call of Duty World War II in terms of the context of the franchise. Even something like Infinite Warfare, which is a bore in terms of the game's storytelling and the campaign. This game is awesome. The set pieces of this game are massive and explosive, and it feels realistic compared to that of some of the previous entries in the franchise. You actually get to pilot not only an aircraft and get to go on dogfighting mission part of this game, you also get to pilot a tank and kind of take down other panzers with your squad mates, and your squad mates are also important in the context of this game, because now not only do you not have regenerative health like you did in the previous Call of Duty entries in the franchise, you have to rely on your teammates for ammunition as well as medkits, and medkits are really important in the context of the story. If you do not take medkits, you're going to pretty much die, and this game is similar to that of Doom and Wolfenstein, where it relies on the medkits to heal yourself throughout the single player story driven narrative, and this game is a single player story driven narrative. So if you don't like single player story driven narratives, you're not going to enjoy the single player story campaign of this game. This game does feature multiplayer as well. You get your standard issue team deathmatch, you get your capture the flag modes. I do believe ground war is in this, but I'm not entirely sure, which is their big team battles mode in Call of Duty, which is similar to that of Halo. And I think that this game really excels in terms of the combat mechanics, since the combat mechanics in this are pretty much your standard typical first person shooter fare. You're looking over the barrel of a weapon in the World War II setting, and you're taking out the Nazi soldiers that are rushing at you. And this game features a lot of missions that have you going house to house, door to door, kicking down doors and breaching stuff occasionally, and actually taking down Nazi soldiers in the mix. There's also stealth missions in this game, which I really don't like the stealth missions in a Call of Duty game. I just think that they're out of place. There's nothing more annoying and breaking of the single player narrative than having to stop the game for a single player mission where you're forced to take stealth measures. There are some missions where stealth is optional, like when you're trying to sneak through Nazi-occupied Germany or even the European theater. And I really don't like some of those missions. I wish they would take them out of Call of Duty in general, just because they don't really help the flow of the game. They just hurt it and they make you do stuff that's like, I'm playing a World War II shooter. Why aren't I actually killing Nazis in this game? Like, why am I wasting my time with this? But one of the missions I really did like was the Liberation of Paris. I think the opening part of that was kind of boring with the stealth mission, but once you get to take control over a sniper rifle and you're actually taking down Nazis and defending the area from the Nazis trying to ambush your team, I think that that was a really cool mission. I think that that mission, the game really did excel in a lot of areas. And there's another mission like that where you take control over a sniper rifle in the European theater and you're defending your position from the Nazi soldiers that are trying to take over. That mission was pretty cool in the game and actually really did make me feel powerful when I was actually sniping down Nazi soldiers and taking down bad guys with this weapon, because these weapons are powerful and dangerous, they're brutal and gnarly like we're in World War II. There's other missions where you take control and give orders to other teammates. In the game, there's this mission, I think it's on the Battle of the Bulge, I could be wrong on that, where you're ascending this hill, there's a bunker on top of it, and you gotta follow this dude around with a detonation charge, and you're trying to avoid weapons fire while also fighting suppressing fire at the same time. That mission, while a little bit difficult, was pretty cool to see in this game. There's a really interesting scene that happens in the middle of the campaign with a train. You commandeer a jeep and you're on a turret system and you're trying to take down the Nazi soldiers. The train actually derails because your jeep gets caught underneath the train. It derails the train, and I think that that scene was ridiculous. It was insane. It just goes on forever and ever, and like even when I was watching that cutscene take place, which I had to do it twice because the checkpoints in this game are pretty terrible in terms of if you fail that mission, you get reverted back to where you started, and it's just a process you go through, and I had to do it twice. It was really intense, and there's parts in this train derailment sequence where I was thinking like there's no way that your character would be able to survive that. It's pretty similar to that of Uncharted, but where Uncharted succeeded was they actually toned down the nonsensical approach to it where things are smashing and breaking down around you. This game just throws everything in the kitchen sink and you don't really believe that that character could survive that sequence in the game. That was like one of the only missions in the game where it took me out of the game itself, and it's like, well, this is just kind of bullshit, like what's the point of this? But I think overall the story of the World War II era in this Call of Duty campaign, the fact that you get to go back and re-experience the World War II aesthetic to it like Call of Duty has been known for in the past, the fact that you get to see some really cool action set pieces in this game, and you get to even like pilot a tank, which is pretty cool to experience driving around killing Nazi soldiers and taking down panzers, was really sweet to see in this game. It reminded me of the movie Fury. This is like a big budget Hollywood action movie, and I think that all the Call of Duty games in the past have borrowed elements from other movies that have come before. They've even taken Hollywood actors and used them as voice actors in these games, and this game is no exception to that rule. So I think that if you really do like Call of Duty franchise as a whole, you've been playing as long as I have with the different iterations of Call of Duty, you should definitely try this game out for yourself. You may or may not like this game, but I think that you should give it a chance nonetheless. And I think this game really excels well in terms of the historical aspects, the gunplay, the musical score, and this is awesome. It feels like a Saving Private Ryan or Hacksaw Ridge or any of these other World War II era style movies that have come before. You get to experience different and exotic locations like Normandy, which is a really cool sequence in of itself. And you also get to see the Battle of the Bulge and the Rhine River, which is a pretty cool mission in the game. There's a lot of really cool and interesting segments in this game, and while it mostly takes place in France and Germany and the Eastern European theater, I don't think that you lose that globe-spanning, globe-trotting adventure that you typically get with the Call of Duty franchise. So I really did have a lot of fun playing Call of Duty World War II. I think it's a fantastic game. There's some elements of it that aren't so fantastic with the stealth missions and that train derailment sequence, which takes you out of the plot of the story. But I think that if you are a fan of these military-style shooters that have a sense of fighting for humanity's survival, like what Call of Duty does with the Nazi era, I think you're going to have a really fun time playing through this game. The graphics in this game look amazing. I don't think that graphics are everything when it comes to a single-player campaign story, but I think it definitely does elevate it to another level with the more realistic graphics that you get to experience this game. The character details in terms of Josh Duhamel and some of the other characters that are featured in Call of Duty World War II are amazing. I think that Sledgehammer Games really knocked it out of the park in terms of that department. So I have to say that if you're looking to play something that's a little bit more boots on the ground heavy, that's a little bit more, wouldn't say historically accurate, because Call of Duty games are really never that historically accurate, something that feels like a big budget blockbuster movie, I definitely say go check this out. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Call of Duty World War II on the PlayStation 4, the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X. Did you like this game? Did you hate this game like I stated before? Did you like some of the other previous games in the Call of Duty franchise in the past, such as the Modern Warfare era? Did you like the Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare era? Did you like the more Call of Duty World War II era, where it's going back to the past and going to the more boots on the ground era? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Lieutenant!
our boys out of here.
No, we can still make it.
You have to retreat.
No, we ain't leaving you here.
Get me up, I'll hold them off. You have to go! Go!
It was an honor.
No sacrifice too great. Go.
Fall back!
Sergeant! Move! Move!
Fall back! Move back! Move!
Go!